It is really crazy to me to think how much our world has become just about being a money-making and profit-making machine for companies, for people in general. It really is crazy to think about that. And I also want to say in the beginning here, it's okay to want to make money, right? And there's not a problem with the money itself. I think it's really the result of what the money has caused to happen in our society. Like, it's okay to want to make money, but man, what it has done as an entire societal impact, it is horrible. And how it has influenced people in certain ways. You think about working, right? But your work becomes your identity because your money comes from your work, right? And you identify with that. And I can also attest to this, right? Like, I'm not one that's like focused all around like making a lot of money, right? But I also did make a video like 5 or 10 videos ago saying why I don't use my vacation time at work, right? Because I like to be at work and making sure I can't take time away from that, and I don't like to be out of my routine, and all the reasons I spoke in that video for that. But again, that is also part of the reason is, I make money from work, and it's tough, right? That relationship, companies are optimizing their company for making money, not necessarily for making people's lives better. I work in a really large company, a retailer in the United States, and I work at the corporate office of that company. And we operate on a budget, right? We have numbers to hit, just like how you hear about large corporate companies. So you got to hit your numbers to get your bonuses and all that, right? And it is such a bad concept. So I'm going to explain it to you guys how it works at my company. And it's crazy. And this is how I understand it. Let's say you did $100 million as a company. And your budget number to hit the next year is $120 million. And let's say you hit $110 million. In most cases, that would be good, right? You anniversaried your sales. You did exactly what you did last year, plus you did 20% more, right? You're up 20% year over year. Well, in this case, you're up only 10%. And at my company, that is seen as you not really doing a good job. You didn't hit the numbers you were supposed to hit, even though you grew the business. And I hate that because someone created a random number at the beginning of the year that you need to hit that, even if no matter what happens, right? Whatever impacts there are in the world, whatever things change, you still have to hit that number, which makes absolutely no sense to me because you have the desire. They have the desire that you need to hit this number, so they won't give people bonuses if they don't hit their numbers. It's crazy. You can almost monetize anything now also on social media, right? You go on there, you can talk about cars and get money. You can talk about this stuff, right? Like I'm talking about just life in general, and I'm playing Minecraft and I can make money. Now I'm not making any money yet, but it is a concept for a monetizable YouTube channel, which is crazy to think. And I think that's a great thing with money, right? I think that's awesome that we can do that. But, the attention and time of others has become a currency. It always has been a currency, but it's so much more prevalent now that we have social media and you can totally see it. People talking about how they're wasting their time on their phone because their attention is being pulled away and pulled into the apps. I really think that pursuing money is not necessarily a good thing for our society, especially at the company level and all these big corporations trying to make more money. That's so bad. But when you pursue money in a way that's beyond your means, more than you really need, and you're just doing it to have more money, right? It makes people insecure, even though they're making the more money to feel more secure. It makes them more insecure. And it also makes them trapped in their job, right? Even though they're doing it and they're making more money to get freedom. And they're also doing it to have more meaning and be more impactful, right? But it really just makes you feel empty inside when you have more money, right? You're just chasing money and you're not living your life. And it also causes people to be unethical, right? I talked about the company I came from, a bunch of large corporations. Think about casinos, right? How ethical is it that they're making a bunch of money off people going into debt and ruining their lives gambling? That's horrible. And I'm sorry that I say that, and I'm getting a little passionate about that, guys, but come on now. How is that legal? And, I think about, I'm someone that's against alcohol drinking because I don't drink. But, of course, there's a fine balance, of course. But, tobacco companies, all these, Zyn commercials you see for Zyn pack things. How are you able to market that when it's literally not good for you? It just drives, it baffles me. Every decision we make, we think, is this the most optimal way to be productive and or to make money? And I'm not saying that's a bad way to think in an optimal, productive way, but man, more of it has just come around can I make more money this way? Oh, money, money, money. And our relationship with money is just not good as a society. But since it is a relationship, it can change and we can improve that. And of course, it's a necessity. We need to change how money makes us feel and how we use it. And we need to be wiser and we need to hold ourselves accountable. I'm not talking about each one of us. I mean, as a society, it's crazy that, we're just trying to focus on making money when money doesn't really bring anything, right? After you make a certain amount of money, I don't know what the number is. And it depends on where you live, right? But after you have the main things covered and you're able to just continue saving and do what you need, live and get by and just do your life, is there really any more increase in quality of life after you make more money? I don't think so. And it's the same thing with large companies too. After you make so much money, how much more money do you really need to make? What's the point, right? Maybe if it's really doing a good duty and service for the universe, for the world, but in most cases it isn't. Building a new casino, come on. So that's my video today, guys. I hope our relationship with money changes soon, and I know it can, and it's tough, and I hope it changes, even though it's been like this for probably hundreds of thousands of years, right? But once it changes, it's going to be a good thing for us, and I really hope we're going to get there, and we'll get there one step at a time, hopefully. So thank you guys so much for listening. Happy Saturday. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and peace out.